Alrighty, it is finals time. Say less footy tips. Here we go. The exciting part of the season. If your team's made it, congratulations. If you're like my team and you haven't made it, better luck next year. Now, wow, there's some absolutely massive matchups starting Friday night, tonight actually. Uh, Broncos Storm, but this time it's take two. But oh wow, just looking at the team list, it's basically like two whole separate teams coming back in, pretty much full strength. Things to note, obviously, Justin Olam goes back out to the reserves, so they're looking at sort of Marion Seve and young Tonamapia before Justin Olam. Um, absolute full strength for the Broncos as well. Corey Oates on the extended reserves in place with Jesse Arthurs. So I think Arthurs has scored more tries than Oates this season, but I think Oates' defense has been a lot better. Um, Look, it's a free by the cherry this week anyway, so you know, oh, so good matchups. The hoodoo or the Broncos not beating the Storm. Oh, there's so many takeaways from this game. This is going to be absolutely fantastic, and I'm gutted I can't watch it live. The forward packs, I mean, Flegler and Haas, Origin forwards this year. Christian Welch, over the last few years, been the first forward picked for Queensland. I think he sort of fell away a little bit, sort of this year. Um, the hookers, obviously Harry Grant, the best hooker in the game, one of the best players, up against Billy the Kid. I think this is an absolutely fantastic matchup that won't get talked about as much. Billy Walters has been absolutely instrumental and fantastic for the Broncos this season. Uh, I think he's going to do very, very well up against Harry Grant. The halves, Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds, Munster, and Hughes, like huge. And then the fullback, obviously, Reese Welsh up against Reese Walsh, wow, up against Nick Meaney with Pappy on the bench to come on as an impact player, maybe into the centers or maybe just as a small forward. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic game. Now, obviously, it's the first versus fourth, so they both get if they lose this, they both get a second by the cherry. Um, it seems like it's all set up for the Broncos to win here. I just I'm always so hesitant to write off a Melbourne Storm team, and like I can't separate them. It's just Cameron Munster. Let's go back to him. Like I said, maybe a month or so ago, like he's an absolute freak. Cam Munster is an alien. Like he's a big game player, and what's bigger than finals? Like Cameron Munster will stand up in this game. I literally want to take Melbourne just over the Broncos just for the Cameron Munster factor. I mean, there's so many stars on both teams, and like the back line for Broncos is so good, but I just keep coming back to Cam Munster. Like he's a game breaker. He runs like he's got spiders on him sometimes. I feel like he he does things when he wants to do things, and obviously that hoodoo of the Storm over the Broncos. I feel like there's been changes of coaches over the years, but like I feel like Craig Bellamy has the wood on the Broncos DNA. Maybe because he was a part of it for so long, so many years ago. I'm not sure, but I'm tipping the Storm by a fraction. This could even go down to Golden Point. This is probably one of the games of the season. Like this would not be out of place as a grand final. So yeah, I'm taking the Storm, but by just an absolute fraction. Let's move on now to Saturday, the afternoon game. Panthers up against Warriors. Now, this was going to be the game of the ground, but it's not. Sean Johnson has been ruled out. Now, looking at the team list, he's still on there. So I've just been trying to unpack what you're going to do here. So let's say, okay, Johnson's out, ruled out. That's what the Webster said. So update the team list. Like, so what are they going to do? I mean, you've got Dylan Walker on the bench. Can play in the halves. Do you move Tamari Martin into seven and Dylan Walker into six, or Walker straight to seven? You're not going to move Wade Egan. You got Freddie Lussick on the bench that was probably going to on an extended reserves bench that you could sort of bring into the reserves if Dylan Walker goes into there, and then you sort of can rotate your hookers. Bailey Sirinen can play in the halves as well, so bring him on, and then you've also got on the extended reserves you have got Tane Tuapiki, who's a fullback, but like, why did they not name Ronnie Volkman on the extended bench? I mean, I guess they didn't. Did they not see this coming? Lucky for the Warriors, if they lose this, I mean, it's not good for the momentum, but they get a second by the cherry. And just like, I'm not saying obviously there's heaps and heaps of stars on this Warriors team, but I think if the shoe was on the other foot and Nathan Cleary was rubbed out and Sean Johnson was playing, I think we'd be just green lighting the Warriors for the win here. So I think that's the impact that, just Dally M halves are just really, really important here. So I'm going to stick with Panthers. Like they're pretty much full strength, or except Jerome Luai probably needs another week or two. So the Panthers should win this, and then it also gives Luai another week to recover as well. So this all signs point to Panthers here. Like if the Warriors upset them without Sean Johnson, wow, that would be the biggest upset of the season. Well, the second biggest upset of the season. Tigers beating Panthers was the upset of the season. But yeah, in finals, I just think that Warriors will play well, but they'll get dusted here, and they'll be they'll fight another day. Johnson will be back the following week. Let's move on to the late game on Saturday now. It is Sharks up against Roosters. Now, this is a coin flip. So I would probably say backline wise, you're probably gonna. It's real tough. I mean, if you go on the whole sort of halves, I'm leaning towards Roosters backline. It's pretty evenly matched. I'd probably even the. I mean, if you don't look at the fullbacks, if you just look at the four of the back five, I think the Sharks have it. But you add in James Tedesco there, he's just an absolute winner. I'd probably tip it in the way of the Roosters again. If you're looking at the forward packs, then definitely the Sharks have it in the forwards. I mean, you've got Lindsay Collins and Brandon Smith and Victor Radley, but just the forwards for the Sharks. Hamilton Uele has been huge. Nakora, Wade Graham, Toby Rudolph, Blake Brayley, and Cam McGuinness. They're just gonna tackle all day and they're just gonna hurt you. The Sharks are looking good in the forward pack. The bench, I'd give it to the Sharks as well. Hazleton and Royce Hunt's been huge. Crichton's on the bench for the Roosters. This is sudden death football. Like, is this where Nico Hines stands up and is counted after getting snubbed in for the Blues jersey after his 8 minutes or whatever it was this year? Does Braden Trindle announce himself as a full time first grader up, which I think he has absolutely done that the last few weeks. Connor Tracy still named at fullback, extended reserves. He did jar his knee last week, and he said he's fine in a press conference. William Kennedy's pretty close, but something to note that if Connor Tracy is a late withdrawal on the extended reserves bench, you do have the young Daniel Atkinson, who is an absolute fire. Just if you can remember back to the trials, wow, this kid, this kid was tearing it up in the trials. He's so good, and obviously Will Kennedy's been there all year. There just hasn't been a lot of opportunities for him. He has played a game this season, but he's just absolute fire, and I want to see more of him. Like, just wish that another club or the club I like would come in and get him. Extended reserves bench for the Roosters. You got Drew Hutchison. Like, is he going to re-sign with the Roosters, or is another club going to pick him up? Quality halves are, and he's a utility as well. But quality halves are hard to come by. I think that another club could definitely use the services of Hutchison, and I think he'd get decent money as well. Where am I going with this? Sam Walker has come back and doing Sam Walker things. He's really good. I've got to stick with the Roosters here, and I'm only sticking with the Roosters because I called them and said that they'd be in the grand final this year, as we all did with the absolute just talent in their roster. Joey Manu, he is back on deck as well. Hopefully his little hamstring or calf holds up. Joey's an absolute game breaker, and obviously Teddy. Yep, I'm going to go with the Roosters, but this will also be a close game. The last game of the round is Knights versus Raiders. Now, Kalen's been named, Jacko Hastings been named, Gagai's been named, Phoenix Crossland's back, Tyson Frizzell's back. Yeah. One thing to note is obviously Seb Chris is suspended from that stupid tackle last week. You've got Jared Croker on the extended reserves bench. He is retiring after the season. He's gonna get in there somewhere. Surely Sticky's not gonna leave him out. It's his last season. He's been an absolute stalwart for the club. Sticky, find a way, put him in there. You got Albert Hawaii on extended reserve bench. He was absolutely killing it. You got Xavier Savage, who was told it was going to be the fullback for the whole season. Obviously, Rapana's doing a good job there. I just think the Knights are just this is a perfect game for them. First round of the finals, keep their winning streak going. The Knights are going to do it here. Sticky, put Jared Croker on. Jared Croker deserves to play one last game. He bleeds green. Put him on the pitch. Yeah, dead set. And if the Raiders pull up, beat the Knights here, wow, huge upset, huge upset. It's not going to happen. Sorry, Raiders fans, but yeah, nice to win that one. All right, let's do a quick recap. Broncos up against the Storm. I'm taking the Storm in a very, very close one. Golden point even. Panthers Warriors. Panthers absolutely cantering. No Sean Johnson. It's just a rudderless Warriors. Sharks up against Roosters. I'm taking the Roosters. And Knights, Raiders. Oh, I'm taking the Knights. Surely the Knights can beat the Raiders. But look, it's finals footy. Anything can happen. All right, let's go for our bet of the week. Am I going to say bet of the week? One of my little TikToks got taken down for breaching community guidelines. So maybe let's call it punt of the week, eh? Now, where I was leaning, I might have a couple for you here. Now, you got to think that the Panthers and the Knights are gonna win pretty easy. So let's take them both 13 plus. Panthers, Knights 13 plus. And then let's put a little anytime try scorer in there. Now I want to go over to the Broncos game, and I feel like the Broncos Storm game. So I want to add in the Storm to win, but if we can add in an anytime try scorer, and I want to add in Eli Katoa as an anytime try scorer. So if you can throw all those together, it's juicy. That's nice. There's a bit of cash there. So yep, 13 plus Panthers, 13 plus Knights, Storm to win, Eli Katoa to score. It's got to get you something. Got to get you something decent. Anyway, so nice little wrap up. That is my tips for the first week of the finals, NRL. If you haven't already, head over to TikTok, subscribe. Instagram needs some loving as well. Say Less Footy Podcast on Instagram. Subscribe here. Give this video a like, comment, do something. Help a brother out here. Yeah, can't wait for this round. If you made it to the end, absolute fucking legend. Say less. Peace out. Thank ya.